Hello, beautiful souls. Hello, hello, hello. It looks like I have finally given in to YouTube, or the YouTube, as I feel like I should be saying at this point. So if you are not familiar with me, my name is Eric Cavell Brown. I am a shamanic healer located in Las Vegas, but I do work for people all around the world. So I am currently deciding to branch out and to reach more people and to share my work with more people. Because when I first came into healing work, I was doing one kind of work, which was mostly rooted in Reiki. And so over the last couple of years, my work has really evolved and developed and grown and turned into something that I did not know it had the ability to turn into. So what I am doing now is kind of reintroducing myself to the people who know me but aren't familiar with the work that I do, or knew the old style of work that I was doing but aren't familiar with the work that I do now. So yeah, this is kind of my coming out of the closet again and again and again and again. So yes, if you are not familiar with energy healing in general, feel free to write me, contact me, anything like that. If you want to speak over the phone, have a consultation, get better understanding, look for some sort of resources or articles or books or anything like that, I can definitely do my best to help you. Energy healing is becoming very, very more well known now than it used to be just in the last couple of years, because there are a lot of people that are finally over the pharmaceutical industry, and I won't get into any of that, but energy healing is a type of healing that we can use to help us overcome any sorts of issues in our lives. This is physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, energetic, anything that is going on. Illness, disease, sickness, discomfort, injuries, pain, PTSD, depression, and of course, I do have to do my little disclaimer. I am not a licensed medical professional in the state of Nevada or anywhere. So I cannot guarantee ever, no one can ever guarantee any sort of specific results when it comes to energy healing. No one can even guarantee specific results when it comes to scientific healing, medical facility healing, pharmaceutical healing, things of that nature. What we can tell you, though, is what this work is capable of doing. What we can tell you are real-life experiences that we have had, both ourselves and the people that we work with. So if you're ever looking for any sorts of anecdotes, or you have questions about dealing with a specific illness or symptom or anything like that, please don't hesitate to contact me. I tell everyone that every sort of physical issue that we have, be that an injury, a car accident, some sort of disease or sickness, anything like that, we can trace it back to some sort of energetic imbalance that we are experiencing. So that is to say that, let's say I come down with the flu. It's not just me getting the flu. There's something going on behind that. There's some sort of energy that is wanting to be released from the body that wants us to pay attention to it so that we can heal through it. And the way that our spirit gets us to try to pay attention to those messages is through some sort of physical symptom. When we have any sort of physical issue, we can always trace it back to an energy that needs healing. We can always trace it back to a stagnated emotion. We can always trace it back to an unresolved trauma that we've experienced in our lives, and that is the work that I do. So as a shamanic healer, when people come to me, whether or not they know why they're coming to me, I will do a two-part process with them. So the main work that I do with my clients is ceremony. I hold what I call Ascension Energy Healing Ceremonies. Everything with me is kind of a ceremonial, ritualistic experience. When people come to me for an Ascension Energy Healing, what they get is a two-part process. First, when they come to me, we do a shamanic divinatory reading. So this is, some people would call it a psychic reading, some people might call it a tarot reading if that's the medium that we use. Some people would call it an energy reading, whatever you want to call it, you can call it. The point of a shamanic divinatory reading is to bring to surface, bring to light, bring to understanding and awareness the energies that we are storing, the energies that we're holding on to, the energies that we might be suffering from, that are creating some sort of blockage in our life, that are creating some sort of incongruence in our life, that are creating some sort of lack of health or lack of finance or lack of unhealthy relationships. Whatever the issue is for you, whatever it is that you are wanting to work through, the reading will tell us what the energies are that are causing that blockage, that are causing that cycle, that are causing that addiction, whatever the case is for you. And then we can go deeper into the reading and see where that came from, how that energy actually catalyzed in your life. The point of my work is to find the root cause of whatever our symptoms are. So instead of just handing someone a pill to get rid of their cough, I go in and understand, or try to understand, the reason for having the cough in the first place. What energy actually created that cough? So it's not just about covering up a symptom, it's about completely eradicating the issue from the source. So we go in and we find out, what is it that led to me having this sickness? What is it that led to me having this unhealthy cycle that I keep falling into? What is it that led to me maybe attracting really unhealthy relationships into my life? And we go back through your energy, through the story of your life, if you will, in order to understand where that stuff came from. So during the reading, I should have brought some stuff over. I have many different modalities and mediums that I use for readings. So when someone comes to me, I am not going to tell you, oh, I'm going to do this type of reading or that type of reading. It's when you step in my door, that's when I know what's going to happen. We might dive into a tarot reading. We might dive into a completely psychic reading where we're talking and I'm letting you know the information that's coming through me. We might engage in some sort of spirit mediumship where maybe an ancestor that passed away or someone that you're closely connected to that passed on comes through to share information or to bring awareness to something that needs to be healed through. There are many, many different types of divination that we can use, and most people are familiar with like tarot, which is the reading of cards. Some people are familiar with using a crystal pendulum, which is called Dowsing. There are many forms of divination, dozens and dozens and dozens. So just to name a couple, I do divination by reading dice, which is called astrogalomancy. And so I have a couple sets of dice that I use. One that is inscribed with runes, which runes are a Nordic tradition of divination. So I do rune reading as well. Another set of dice that I use for divination has all of the astrological characters and planetary symbols on the dice. Astrology is a type of divination, and most people don't think of it as such, but astrology is literally reading the energies of the planets, reading the energies of the stars, reading the energies of zodiac signs, and being able to interpret them in a real-time situation or story or experience. I also do what's called bibliomancy, which is the reading of a book. But the way that we do bibliomancy, usually it's done by opening a book at random. So I might randomly feel called to grab a book that's sitting on the counter, open it to a page, and that's got the answer to what it is that we're looking for, which is a really interesting type of divination. It's something that a lot of people do with Bibles and books that carry some sort of religious background. People find a lot of strength in just opening the book to a random page and reading whatever it is that they needed to find that day. What else? I also read crystals, which is called lithomancy. And so this is, I have crystals that I might use like dice sometimes, and I will cast crystals and read the information that they're bringing to me. You know, crystals are really awesome mediums and tools for healing because of everything that they help us with. You know, there are hundreds of different types of crystals, and they all have their different benefits and effects and energies that they bring to the table and help us heal through. And by casting crystals, I can also determine what it is that you're dealing with, what some past patterns of yours are, energies that you're carrying, blockages that have been carried, sicknesses, disease, all sorts of stuff. The crystals can give us that information as well. I also practice, or more, it practices me. There is a type of divination that is called Spaz Madam Z. And so this one is literally the interpreting of involuntary muscle spasms. So anyone who has worked with me in person or online knows that typically, like if I'm channeling a deceased ancestor or if I'm channeling a lot of energy in general, a lot of times all of a sudden things will start twitching and jumping and shaking, and my arm might go flying or whatever happens. And so when we understand that those are messages wanting to come through as well, we can interpret the information that's coming through the muscle spasms. So like if I'm working with someone and my left shoulder keeps jumping, maybe that means that they have a blockage with receiving energy into their heart. You know, so really being able to break down the meanings and messages in everything. Numerology is a type of divination, being able to read the messages of numbers when they present to us. Theriomancy or zoomancy is the interpreting of animals when they present and the medicine that they bring to us. There's such a wide array of divinatory practices, and so I really attempt to incorporate as many as I can, as many as I feel called to in the space that I'm holding. That way we can get to the core of whatever it is that you're wanting to work through. We can get to the core of your blockages, your patterns, your issues, your traumas, your anxiety, your sadness, your despair, whatever it is. We can find an answer to resolve it. We can find how it catalyzed and heal through that originating trauma. That way, that completely dissolves the pattern, that completely dissolves that energy cycle, and you then have a choice in how you feel. You then have a choice in the actions that you make and take, and the decisions that you make. It's really, really beautiful work. So that is the first part of an experience with me, is that we will jump into a fully complete divinatory reading. And when I say full and complete, I mean that these readings usually last at least 90 minutes. They typically can go to about 2 hours. So it is a ton of information that does come through me. I am automatic speaking most of the time. So this means that there's a lot of information that's coming out of my mouth, and there aren't usually a lot of pauses unless we're engaging in some sort of conversation. So I do invite everyone to record an audio of our reading. That way, because of the fact that it's so much information, you can go back and you can listen to it whenever you want. Definitely feel free to come in and take notes, pen and paper if you like being old school about it. I know I do. But however you want to do it so that you can remember all of the information that comes through, and you can go back and revisit it as well to keep yourself reminded of what it is that we spoke about and what it is that we worked through. During these readings, sometimes I feel called to do energy work during the reading, or energy work might automatically be done on you. A lot of people don't understand that when it comes to psychic reading and tarot reading and all of that stuff, that's still a form of energy work. Whenever we're creating any sort of understanding or awareness or consciousness about our own energies that we carry, and we start connecting it to what we want, what we don't want, we automatically begin a healing process. We begin shifting pieces into their rightful places, removing the pieces that we don't want, putting the pieces in that do fit. And so when we do this, the work starts working immediately. So during the reading, you may definitely feel effects of energy healing being done at that time. Some people have complete purges of energies during the reading, which means you might experience what we would call a breakdown. And you start crying. Your body might start actually processing the energy, similar into the way that I was explaining, like Spaz Madam Z and the involuntary muscle movements. You might experience some of that during the reading as well. So it's really awesome to be prepared to have a very completely shamanic experience starting as soon as you get here. So when we do the reading, once that is finished and we've kind of processed and sorted out everything that needs to be addressed, then we go into ceremony. And so I do want to say that when it comes to the work that we do together, you can come with any intentions. If you already know that you want to work through a very specific trauma, or you want to resolve a specific issue, or you're noticing something coming up for you a lot, that's what we will do the work on. That's exactly what we'll focus on. That's exactly what we'll set intentions for. And that is exactly what we'll dive into the reading. If you don't know what it is that you need, if you don't know what it is that you're suffering from, if you don't understand what it is that's going on, but you just know that you need some sort of shift, you don't have to come with any intention other than that, and I will do the rest. I will tap into exactly what it is that you need, exactly what it is that's presenting itself as the most overt issues that need to be addressed, the biggest blockages that need to be worked through, the stuff that is pertinent and important to you at that present point in your life, and that is exactly what we will dive into. I'm able to pick up on all sorts of past traumas and ailments and injuries, people, places, things, everything. So do know that if you don't know what it is that you need, I can find that for you, and we can dive into all of it. So once the reading is done, then we will jump into the ceremonial portion of the experience, which is the Ascension Energy Healing. This experience, the format of it is very similar to, if you're familiar with energy work, a Reiki session, or even like a massage therapy session. So you will be laying on a massage table, and I will be doing energy work above, around, and with you. This process is extremely multifaceted. I have many different types of rituals and experiences that I bring into the space. So it is a different experience for everyone, and no matter how many times you visit me, it's always going to be a different experience, because you're different and I'm different, and you've healed through different things and you've worked through different things, and then new things might come up that need to be addressed. So the work that's done is never going to be the same work. During the ceremony, which is again a very deep and shamanic experience, most people go on what we would call like a spirit journey or an out-of-body experience. Some people might stay in their bodies, some people might fall asleep. Everything that happens in that space for very specific reasons, and is a very specific energy that's wanting to be brought into the space. This means that the session might be a bit silent. This means that the experience might be extremely musical. I do use many different instruments and tools in my practice in order to incorporate different energies, in order to lift different energies, in order to cleanse and clear and reprogram and all of that stuff. So also similar to what we would call like a sound bath or a sound healing, there's a lot of sound happening. So I play many different instruments, I bring many different sounds into the space, and I also do what I call medicine singing. So I channel music in languages that I am not consciously familiar with, and use these songs and these chants that come through me in order to help guide you on your journey. So let's say that you are having an out-of-body experience and going on a spirit journey. The music is helping to guide that experience. The music is helping to take you from place to place to place in order to maybe resolve old traumas, maybe to feel and release emotions that have been trapped inside of you, maybe to work through some sort of physical ailment that needs to be restructured and put back into place, whatever it is. During the ceremonial portion, I also do offer to all of my clients to be served one of two or both plant medicines that I work with. I work with two Amazonian plant medicines. One is called hape and one is called sananga. These medicines are completely legal in the United States. So obviously these medicines would only be used if we're doing an in-person ceremony. These medicines are completely legal in the United States, and they are not hallucinogenic. They're not psychoactive. So this means that you get to experience the full benefits of what real true healing Amazonian plant medicine is, without the concern of, number one, it being illegal, and number two, not having control of your facilities, or thinking that you're going to end up hallucinating and seeing things or not having control of yourself, things like that. That doesn't happen with these medicines. I'm going to post a separate video talking about Hape and Sananga. So definitely look for that. And if you are wanting information on those medicines before I post the videos, shoot me a message and I'll send you a couple of really great informational articles and websites to read over, and we can have a phone call discussing them. I very much believe in plant medicine and all sorts of alternative healing, and the plant medicines really help to open up a different type of space for healing, and I really feel called to share them with anyone who wants to experience them. So that is something that I offer during the ceremony portion as well, and if that's something that you're interested in, you can let me know, or I can let you know if I feel called to work with that medicine with you, and then we can have that discussion at that time. Ceremony itself is typically about an 1.5 to 2 hour process as well. So most people, when they come to me for a full healing ceremony, it's usually about a 4-hour process, including time afterwards to actually sit and process and integrate the experience. I'm very big on making sure that people understand everything that took place, from the reading to the ceremony to how they can incorporate all of that experience into their everyday life. Energy healing ceremony with me can be intense for some people. It can bring up a lot of emotion. There's a lot of stuff that can happen in that space that we wouldn't normally experience in our day-to-day lives if we're not already a part of this world. If we're not a part of this world, the healing world, the energy healing world, the alternative, new age, whatever we want to call it. It's kind of the only realm that I live in anymore. So I like to make sure that we take time after the ceremony to speak about everything that you experience. There will be stuff that comes up for me that I'm picking up on and reading as I'm moving energy and doing the healing work with you. And then there's also stuff that you're going to pick up on and experience, or maybe stuff that you're going to see, maybe stuff that you're going to hear, maybe emotions that will come to the surface, whatever it is for you. And I want to make sure that we are able to make sense out of most of that stuff so that you're walking away with not just an experience, but an understanding of what that experience was, what it brought you, and how you can incorporate the awareness of that into your life going forward. It's really important that we understand how to integrate this experience into our life, because when we come and we do this work, even though we might, do the reading and bring all of this stuff to the surface, make all of these realizations about stuff that's going on in our lives, make the connections to traumas and adversities and unhealthy patterns, and then we do the energy work to dissolve that stuff, that doesn't mean that we're not going to step back into it the next day. If we've been stuck in a pattern for 27 years of our life, then just because we clear that energy doesn't mean that we won't naturally take that route again. Just because you decide to stop smoking cigarettes doesn't mean that you're not naturally going to go to pick one up after you decide to stop smoking. It's really easy for us to fall back into unhealthy cycles because we've been in them for so long. So creating something new, creating a new lifestyle, that requires us to integrate our experiences, to integrate our awarenesses, to integrate our newfound consciousness, and to keep that going instead of whatever the old program was. A lot of people ask me, as far as preparation, how do they prepare for ceremony with me? And I tell most people, you don't. I'm not even ready for it sometimes. But really, I think the major important thing is to set your intention. And again, if you don't know why you're coming to me, if you don't know what it is that you need, but you know that you need something, your intention can just be to be open to whatever you need to receive. And that's fine. If you have something specific that you're coming to me for, if it's an illness and your intention is, I want to heal through this illness, then that is something that we will set an intention for, and then we'll break it down and understand why it existed and how we can get rid of it. Again, that doesn't mean that I can guarantee that we can heal all of your issues. It's a two-way street. There's a space that I'm opening for that work to be done, and then there's the work that you're doing on both the front and the back end to keep that energy alive. Other than that, I tell people to drink plenty of water. Water is a conduit for so many energies and healing, and we need to be well hydrated in order to get the maximum benefit and potential from this work. The same as, like water is a conduit for lightning, it's a conduit for energy in general. So if we're well hydrated, that means that energy is going to be moving and flowing and getting to everywhere that it needs to get, with no pushback, if that makes sense. It's able to just flow effortlessly and seamlessly to everywhere that it needs to go. I am sweating. It is so hot here in Vegas, and I have the sliding glass door open. Other than that, that's kind of a really quick rundown on the work that I do. I also like to let people know that when you come and see me, to let me know beforehand if you have allergies to any sorts of herbs or resins or flowers or tree wood or anything like that. I'm super into smudging and using herbs and plants to keep a clean space energetically and physically. So if you have any sorts of allergies to anything, I would love to know beforehand. That way I can make it a point to not burn anything that's going to affect your allergies the day that we have our appointment. I do a ton of smudging throughout the reading and the ceremony as well. I'm a double Virgo here, so I definitely love keeping my space as clean as possible in many different ways. So that is something that I will be doing as well while you are here. So other than that, that's, like I said, that's a really basic rundown on the work that I do when it comes to my ceremony. So again, this is an introduction to my Ascension Energy Healing Ceremonies. And I will be bringing more information to you about the other types of work that I do. This is just the main facet, the main scope of my work as a shaman in current day. So thank you so much for watching. I hope that this was good and informational for you. And if you are curious about my work and you want to speak with me about it, please don't hesitate to contact me. I do free consultation calls with anyone who is curious, anyone who thinks that this might be the route for you, whatever the case is. I love sharing information about this work. This is my life work. This is my passion. I am here to do this work, to perform this work, to offer beautiful healing experiences for people, and I want nothing more than to carry that out in every way possible. So yeah, don't be afraid to contact. This is new work for a lot of people, especially with the shift that we're seeing in consciousness today. A lot of people are turning to alternative methods of healing and growing and evolving. And the work that I do is a very, very deep jump down the rabbit hole for some people. So if you have any questions about shamanism in general, any questions about what it means to be a shaman in modern day, definitely feel free to write me. So yes, I hope that you have a beautiful day, a beautiful night, a beautiful evening, a beautiful afternoon, whatever it is, wherever you are. And do know that this work is for everyone. You don't have to live in Vegas or one of the cities that I travel to in order to have this work done. The really, really special and magical thing about this kind of work is that we can be at any distance and have the work done. So I work with clients overseas. I work with clients in Africa. I work with clients in Europe. I work with clients in Australia. Like, it doesn't matter where you are on the globe. I do prefer to do distant sessions over video chat, like FaceTime or Facebook Messenger chat, whatever it is for you. But we don't have to do it that way. That's just the way that I prefer to. But anywhere in the world that you are, I'm here to be of healing service to you. So yes, love and light to all of you. Have a beautiful whatever it is, wherever you are, and we will talk soon. Bye.